We are Steve and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today, Jill and I talk about accountability in your land investing adventure. This has been, I belong to a group, the way that a lot of Land Academy members are members of Land Academy. I'm a member of a mobile home park group. And accountability was a real hot topic this week because, and the guys that run this mobile home group are 10 times more cranky than I am. And they are, well, I'll get into it in this show. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. And I hope you know by now that Jill and I run a small crew every quarter, consulting / what would you call it? Class. It's a master class.
Exactly.
Called Career Path. If this is your career or you want it to be, let us know. support@landacademy.com.
David N. wrote, I just sent my first mailer out. I was wondering if on future mailers I should include a picture of my wife and I, plus our dogs, just to add a little more personal touch to it. Makes it look a little more personal and less like junk mail. What are your thoughts? Not a fan of that, but definitely on your website. That's what I personally think.
David got obliterated on Discord on this.
Is that what does everybody say the same thing? Like, don't do that?
Okay, so the reason I put this in here is not to make fun of you, David, at all, because I think it's great that you're questioning everything, and you should all the way through this. Mm-hmm. But please do me a favor and everybody else a favor and stick to exactly what goes on in Land Academy 3.0. Right. Just do what Jill and I say to the letter. Make a bunch of money and then start to make it your own. The people in Career Path, this is what they've done. They did it our way for a year, made a bunch of money, proved the concept to themselves and their spouses and whoever else. And then they said, I'd really just like to do infill lots, or I'd just like to do ranches, or I'd just like to buy and sell recreation property, and I'd like to only do it over here. Or I'd like to we've got a person in our advanced group. I love this. And I think it's nuts. I would never do it, but I'm probably going to do it now just because you said it. He downloaded a data set a long time ago. It was a huge data set, 50, 60, 70,000 records. And he just keeps mailing the same area over and over and over again with the same data set. And for years, he's been doing
picking up.
And he just keeps buying property on the same data set. Yeah.
Because every time you just pick up more, no one remembers that you're the one that sent the letter the last time, for him. So, and you skip, because you're just hitting those people. It's the situation now.
Am I recommending that you do that? Absolutely not. No. But he did it because he did it our way for a while. It worked great. And then he made it his own. Mm-hmm.
Well, you and I said that, remember, a long time ago when we were doing LA County. I'm like, we could hang out in LA County and probably retire with property in LA County. Just keep working the area, changing it up a little bit, doing a little bit this zip code, that zip code, this size, that size. So that could be what he's doing too. He could be going, I did all the 5 to 10s, now I'm gonna do the 10 to 20s, now I'm gonna do the 20s and above. So that's really a smart way, I think. To make this work for you.
Today's topic, accountability in your land investing adventure. This is the meat of the show. Accountability as a concept is dwindling. We're seeing it, Jill and I are seeing it with our staff. We're seeing it with, I'm just seeing it in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the root of it is.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and blame it on some new generation because I don't think that's the case. I think it's everybody. I don't know if it's a result of COVID. This mobile home park group that I'm in, the two guys that run it, a quick Google search and you'll find out. I don't know what it's called, Mobile Home University or something like that.
Yeah, is it COVID? Is it the
they can't. It's traditionally been very difficult to staff on-site managers for mobile home parks, and these guys are getting obliterated. And the people in their group, everybody owns mobile home parks in the group, they're like, we just can't, no matter what we do, how much we pay, how much free stuff that we give these people that live there and for utilities and everything, the turnover is atrocious. So Jill and I just replaced several people on our staff. Most of them came to us and said they're done, but we found out they just weren't doing anything. And it's this work from home thing. It just didn't work for us. And it didn't. We literally have one person that came to Jill last week and said, this work from home thing, I'm lonely.
Well, we acquired an employee that way, and I'm losing. We acquired an employee here in the state because they didn't want to work from home anymore at their current job, so they work for us. And then I'm losing a person for that same reason. They're in a different state, and I'm like, come here, come to the office. And they're like, yeah.
Did you mention that?
I did. They're like, yeah, I don't want to be in Arizona. I'm like, all right, well, what about I get you an office there, like like a WeWork or something? He's like, yeah, no, I need to be out and about. I'm not doing as much as I physically. I'm like, I get it. So I was going to say that remind me think of the accountability thing and finding people. That's one of the reasons why you and I earlier this year were looking at a property that had a bunch of cabins. Remember, and it was going to be quote unquote turnkey, where they would sell us a business, had a main house, and then like 6 cabins. We thought this would be great. They're like, yeah, don't worry. We got a cleaning crew. We got this crew. We got that crew. And I'm like, yeah, that's great until the one weekend, that we're not available, and then the crew can't make it. And my favorite is you and I, running around doing it, and all we hear is
sheets.
Cabin 4 needs toilet paper. That's all we need.
That's all we need in our lives. You're right.
I am not going to do that. So that's one of the reasons. So I look at things differently because this is such a big issue. And you're right. Is it like a generational thing?
Well, let's not. Who knows why? Let's all agree that it's happening. And so
Noted.
At the risk of sounding like your father, nothing is going to happen in your life if you don't hold yourself accountable.
True.
I don't care what you do in your life. You need to hold yourself accountable and execute on whatever you put in your calendar and map out for yourself on the way to success. The people that we have in all the career paths, and especially this career path here that we're doing right now, are ridiculously self-accountable.
Right.
All of them. We have a couple of people in the career path that have been with this group and been in Land Academies since the beginning. Mm-hmm. And it's all about executing what you map out for yourself in whatever calendar system you use. I heavily suggest Outlook. So the good news is that if you are an accountable person, you're going to hold yourself accountable for whatever it is that you decide is important. You're going to be the minority. You don't have a lot of competition. If you tell yourself, I'm going to send this mailer out and I'm going to answer the phone, and you answer it, you're in the top 10%, 90th percentile, in my opinion.
I agree.
Every time we get an offer for one of our properties around the country, Jill calls him back. And what percentage actually answer the phone and call you back? I
know. It's ridiculous.
0%?
I have one right now, not kidding, but he's not interested to clear he's asking me too many questions, like not doing the work. I'm like, there's no way you're going to survive in this business.
What do you mean questions?
He's like asking me, well, what are the back taxes? What are this? What? I'm like, look them up, idiot. You're an investor.
Well, I love when you get miffed.
Oh man. And he's just like, well, how about this? And how about that? I'm like, I'm not working that hard at this.
Is it a Land Academy member?
This is why, I'm not sure. Cause the first name it's Vic. And the letter has Vic with a K, and then I do have someone in our database that's a member with like Vic with a C. It's either Vic with a C or Vic with a K, same last name. I'm not sure if it's the same guy. Uh-huh. Like Vic Johnson. So is it the same Vic? I'm not sure. It could be. Either way, he's not going to make it. Like, it further confirms why we do well.
Every time
I follow through and I hold myself accountable, and this is what we're going to do. Especially when I say here's what we're going to do and give an amount or something, I'm going to follow through. It's the right thing to do.
Every time this topic comes up, I think about exercise. So we all know we should exercise 4 or 5 times a week in the morning. Usually in the morning, whenever. We all know we should exercise. How many of us do it? Me included. She does. I don't.
I do now.
We all know that Land Academy works. We all know the numbers. We all know that it will make us filthy stinking rich. But do we all do it? No.
Right.
And so why? Because we're not holding ourselves accountable. And why? Because it just isn't that important, I guess. It's super important for me to execute these mailers and get crazy rich. I know it's important for you, but I guess it's not that important for me to be, to exercise in the morning the way that I used to.
What tips do you have for someone that's struggling?
Look in the mirror and decide what's for you. If you want to do this, make a commitment and then execute it without emotion. The problem is that the people get hung up because they haven't made a commitment.
Yeah.
We make commitments all the time on all kinds of stuff, but for some reason this is difficult. And I think the root of that is it has to do with emotion. It's like, yeah, maybe I'm going to screw this mailer up. Of course you're going to screw it up. Just like I screw up. Every mailer, there's pockets of screw up. Yeah. That's just how it is. But the numbers work. For every 3,000 to 5,000 units you send out, you're going to buy a property and make some dough. So you have to map it all out in Outlook. Map your way to success. Every tiny little step of the way, every task, map it out in Outlook to the point where your bank account is where you want it to be. And make a commitment and follow through. And hold yourself accountable. That this world right now is packed full of people where I would say something like that and they would send a mailer out and say they don't blame themselves.
Oh.
They'll blame something else, like, well, we didn't teach it right.
Oh, that's true. That's the part that frustrates me is some people that like, oh, classes, it's too early. Like, I like your exercise thing because it's obviously important to me right now. I'm a couple months in and I'm feeling it and seeing
Jill just got a report card and she's real happy today.
I got a report card. I had a body scan and I got a report card and I did great. I'm really happy. So it's all going in the right direction. It shows,
Jill. It really does.
Thank you very much.
We should go back to like podcasts from 3 months ago and I bet
and look at that.
I bet this is real different.
Maybe. So, but it's easy to push it back on somebody else when you're. That's I think that's probably step number one. You said have a discussion in the mirror. Okay, I got it. Commit in the mirror. Number two, know it's you or know that you have the power to make this happen. You should never be putting it on somebody else. My mailer didn't go out because offers to owners wasn't open today and I needed to talk to someone about it. So whatever. Now hold on a moment. There's email and, that's not the best example, but, you could put it on somebody else when it really should just be on you and whatever it is, you can overcome it and do it. If you're committed, I guess you're right. That's the main thing.
One of the reasons, I probably never told you this, one of the reasons that I really got along with you really early on. I don't know how else to say this, but you just took responsibility for everything. Like if I get in a car accident, I don't care what happens. I'm probably going to blame myself.
Yeah.
Not anybody else. There's certain exceptions, but you just take total responsibility for everything. And if something goes wrong today in my life, the first person I'm going to look at is me, not her, not whatever happened. And that's just how I roll. And I'm not sure that the majority of people now are like that. I think they're blaming a lot of people for everyone else for where they are.
Right.
They blame their parents. They blame, the zip code they grew up in. COVID's a great one. All of that. And you're just never going to, I don't know how you can wind up being a happy person when you're blaming other people. This is not a political thing. I don't care if it transcends right or left.
Right.
It's just, you can't listen to people's opinions and get upset about stuff. You have to listen to your own opinion and move forward.
Yeah. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called So Much Land Investing Success on Discord.
Oh, good.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
That's awesome.
Boy, Discord is just
amazing.
Sometimes Jill and I launch these little products and the value added benefits to being a member. And Discord has ended up being a really good value added, not expensive, not hard to operate tool for all of us.
Well, what the thing about it is, it's just an easy app to use. We always had our online community and there was great conversations and all of this was happening in landinvestors.com, but having the Discord app just made it easier and faster and more efficient to use and keep up with.
Yep.
That's what I think. And thank you for tuning in. By the way, just so you know, don't forget 2022 is a big year for us. We released Land Academy 3.0, catching up with Land Academy. So it's the latest and greatest way that we do everything. Check it out at landacademy.com.
We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.